Hi guys, it's Ebony and I'm back to do a tag video. I just watched the Bronze Goddess 01 do this tag and she tagged everyone to do it. It sounds really fun, so I'm going to go ahead and do the tag. The name of the tag is My First Time Tag, and I'm going to do it, and I also tag all of you guys to do it as well if you make videos and you want to do it, because it sounds like fun. So let me just jump into the questions. The first question: do you still talk to your first love? Unfortunately, I do not. There isn't any hard feelings between us or anything like that, but as we grew older, this was my first love from high school, and as we grew older, we just grew into two totally different people. Like he's one person and I'm a totally different person. It's not like it used to be, so even if I were to try to talk to him, we don't have as much in common as we used to, so it would be a very difficult and awkward type of conversation. So unfortunately, I don't talk to him anymore. Next question: what was your first alcoholic drink? The first drink that I remember drinking was vodka, Grey Goose vodka, and this was back when I was in the military, and me and my army friends would have like barbecues outside of the barracks. They had like this picnic barbecue type area outside of the barracks with benches and things like that, and when we didn't have anything to do, we would go out there and sit and eat, and you know, there was alcohol there, and that's the first thing I remember drinking. And I remember we were drinking during the day, and it was in the summertime and it was hot, so I just remember getting really sick. I'm not big on drinks right now. I haven't drank in a long time, and it doesn't interest me anymore, but that's the first drink I remember, the first alcoholic drink I remember drinking. Next, what was your first job? My first job was at a restaurant called Flips. It was like a Greek food establishment. They had different types of food like fried mushrooms and hamburgers and Greek food, like I can't even remember, but it had so many different types of food there, and the food was really good. And I was a cashier slash waitress, so I would work the dining room, and I would also work at the cash register, and I would also cook some food sometime and make milkshakes and clean up in the back and wash dishes. So I did a lot of things at that restaurant. What was your first car? My first car was a white 1993 Nissan Sentra, and still to this day it's my absolute favorite car out of all the cars that I've had. I bought it for $1,500, and it was small, but it was my first car, so I don't know if you remember that feeling, like, oh, this is mine. I can go where I want to go when I want to go, and I don't have to ask anybody, can I borrow your car, or ask for a ride. So I really love that car. Who was the first person to text you today? It was my husband. Today's registration, school registration, so he had to take our 11-year-old daughter to go register for school because we moved houses, so we're in a new school district, so he had to take her to register her for school. And I think we were texting about the electricity bill, because that's what they need, you know, to register kids for school as proof of address. So I think I got a text message about that. Yes. Who was the first person you thought of this morning? The first person I thought of this morning was my 2-year-old, because she actually still sleeps with me and my husband. So normally by the time I wake up, my husband is already out of the bed, but my 2-year-old is right beside me. Sometimes her arm is thrown over me, sometimes her leg is thrown over me. So if I wake up and she's on me and I have to kind of scoot her off without waking her up, then of course the first person I'm gonna think about is her. Who was your first grade teacher? My first grade teacher was a black lady named Miss Johnson. She was the classiest, most professional, most neat, elegant looking woman I've ever met. Literally, like, she was always put together. She always had her hair nice, but she always had the way she dressed. She was always modest, very modest, and very I mean, let me put it like this, the same things I would see her wearing to school would be the same things that I would probably see her wear to church. She was just that type of lady. I really loved her. She was so sweet, Miss Johnson. Joyce Johnson. I don't think she would mind me saying her name, but yes, it was Joyce Johnson. Where did you go on your first ride on an airplane? Sorry you guys, my neck is hurting, so I'm kind of like trying to massage it out, so please excuse me. My first ride on an airplane was actually when I went to basic training. I lived in Alabama at the time, had never flew on a plane, so when I had to go to Missouri for basic training, that was my first airplane ride alone. I mean, I didn't have any family, it was just me and the few other people that were going to basic training also. It was pretty scary because I am from Montgomery, Alabama, so that the airport in Montgomery is very tiny, very small airport, and the planes coming in and out of that airport are tiny, and they shake when they take off and when they land. So first airplane ride, that was pretty scary. Who was your first best friend, and do you still talk? I remember in kindergarten a girl named Maria Green. She was my best friend. We would talk and play and do centers. I don't know if you guys remember centers, where you would go, you would play either art or Play-Doh or reading or whatever. We would go to centers together and we would just have a lot of fun together. But I don't talk to her anymore because I don't know where she is, and her name is so there's a lot of Maria Greens. If I even try to look her up online, there's tons of them, so I wouldn't be able to find her. Where was your first sleepover? My first sleepover was over one of my friend's house in middle school. I still talk to her, so I don't know if she wants me to say her name or not, but her parents are actually from Liberia, so it was always fun to go sleep over her house because then you got exposed to a different culture than what I was used to being a black girl growing up in Alabama. You know, my parents did things a certain way, but her parents being from Africa, they ate certain foods. They had their language that they spoke at the house, and they had, there were differences, and it was always interesting to see those differences. And I loved going over to her house. I really did. I loved it. Who was the first person you talked to today? My husband. He asked me, was I going to work today? Which he does most mornings if I oversleep. Whose wedding were you in the first time? I've never been in a wedding. Never been in a wedding. What was the first thing you did this morning? The first thing I did was turn the clock on my cell phone off. I have it set for 4:45 and 5:45 in the morning, and I don't know why. At one point I was getting up that early to get ready for work, but not anymore. But it's still set for 4:45. I like to gauge how much time I have left when I'm sleeping. So if it goes off at 4:45 and I can hit it, I'm like, yes, I still have an hour and a half, or however much time I have left, and it makes me feel like, yes, I can still sleep. So I keep it set for 4:45. So that's the first thing I did when I woke up. My cell phone went off, I hit the snooze button, and then I sat there and I was just thinking. I wasn't sleeping, but I was just thinking. What was the first concert you've ever went to? And I've never been to a concert either. I've never done a lot of things. First broken bone, I've never broken a bone. First piercing, my ears, when I was maybe like four or five. The first foreign country you've gone to. The first foreign country, I don't know if this is really foreign, but it is a different country, was Canada. And I went 2 years ago on my birthday. We were in Detroit, so we decided to cross over to Canada. I don't know why. I don't know what made me not think, but I didn't think I needed a passport to go to Canada from Detroit. So I crossed the Michigan, that gate that takes you into Canada, with just my ID. They let me into Canada with just my ID. And then when I got ready to come back from Canada to Michigan, they were like, where's your passport? And I was like, what, I need a passport? They were like, ma'am, you went to another country, you need a passport, where's your passport? So then they gave me like a hard time. I had to go into this little office or whatever, but eventually they let me come back. But I was like, man, why didn't I think about that? You just don't think, because it's so easy to cross from Michigan to Canada. First movie you remember seeing? I think it was that movie with that deer that kept falling, Bambi. I think it was Bambi. That's the first movie I remember seeing. When was your first detention? The first detention and the only detention I had, I think I was in like maybe 9th or 10th grade. And I remember I had cut my foot the night before, but I decided I still wanted to go to school. So I went to school, I was in detention, I had a deep, deep cut on my foot that I should have actually gotten stitches for, but I didn't. So I remember being in detention and I kept checking my foot, like to see if it was I know this is gross, but to see if it was bleeding through the bandages and the socks, and it was. And then so I went and showed the coach, because it was actually a coach who was over detention that day, and I was like, look at my foot. He's like, girl, you're gonna get gangrene. You need to call your daddy to take you to the doctor. I was like, gangrene? What is that? He was like, your foot's gonna fall off. So that's my memory of detention. And I don't even know what I did to end up in detention. Who was your first roommate? Besides my sisters growing up, I always had a sister as a roommate. I don't ever remember having a room by myself. But besides my sisters, it was when I was in the Army, when I went to my job training. I was with this tall blonde girl. I don't remember her name. She had like a very, it wasn't like a regular American name like Smith, Johnson, or anything like that. It was something, a weird name, so I don't remember it. But she was my first roommate, and she was very respectful, very clean, very bubbly. I mean, we got along really well. I never had any problems out of her. She was a nice girl. If you had one wish, what would it be? One wish to stop going to work every day, to be able to spend more time with my kids, more time with my family, more time being a mother, you know, doing the things that mothers do, cooking, making sure the house is clean, all of those things. And then also, I would not like to work so I can be able to devote some of my time to volunteer and do things for other people. Like, I want to be that person where they're like, oh, who should I call to help me? Oh, Ebony, I know she'll do it. That's the type of person I want to be. So I want to just be able to help people when they need me to. My time, my resources, anything, you know. Oh, you need somebody to keep your kids, I'm the girl. Oh, you need somebody to help you with this, I'm your girl. You know, I really want to help people. So I wish I had more time. Right now I don't have the time, so I can't help people the way I want to. What is something you would learn if you had the chance? I would learn to speak, and I'm probably going to mispronounce it because I don't have the proper accent to say it right. But I would love to speak Chi. My husband and my 11-year-old daughter, they speak Chi, and they speak it in the house. This is a language. They're from Ghana, I told you, so this is a language that they speak. Alright, so my card got full, but like I was saying, I would love to learn how to speak the language. I have picked up a few phrases, and I can understand a little bit when they're talking, just because I can see what they say, and then the actions that happen after they say something. Like, I can tell if he's saying, come eat or go take a shower or something, because I can see how she responds. But you know, I can't speak it, and of course with my, you know, country Alabama accent, I probably won't ever be able to speak it well, even if I were to learn it. But I would like to make the effort, just so that it's just something I want, you know, because it's something that's in my house, so I would love to take part of it. Okay, so last question. What were the first lessons you ever took? The first lesson I ever took was gymnastics, tumbling lessons. Learn how to do like back handsprings and tucks and things like that. Very fun, very, very, very fun. So that is the tag. Once again, I tag all of you guys to do this tag. Also want to mention that I have a giveaway going on right now until September the 1st. I called it my Get Glammed Up subscriber appreciation giveaway. So check out that video. It's up before this video. There's a few goodies in there that I would definitely want for myself, so please enter if you haven't. Also, I want to let you guys know that I now have a Facebook page and Instagram. So it's Everything Ebony on Facebook as well as Instagram. So definitely check me out there. Thanks so much for watching. I will talk to you guys again soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.